Our voting history is public record. Yeah, that's right, Bae. Whether we vote or not is available online for any of our fellow millennial friends to see, or even worse, our parents. If you don't vote, everyone might find out that you're the opposite of on fleek, or that you're basic, or even worse, that you've got no chill.
Yo, we have chill here on MSNBC. That's comedian Will Ferrell making his case for Hillary Clinton in a new web video. If you haven't seen it on TV, that's because it's only online, and there is a reason for that. Check out this data from the New York Times. Older folks sticking with their TVs, but the younger demo more likely to spend most of their time watching shows on the computer, on the tablet, on the smartphone. They are called cord cutters, and reaching them is getting more and more important for campaigns. Joining me now, GOP pollster Chris Wilson, who also happens to be the former data guy for the Ted Cruz campaign. Chris, thanks for being with us today.
You bet, Hallie. Thanks for having me.
So listen, this is super interesting. Bring it back to politics. You collected data all around the country to find out how many registered voters were actually cord cutters in some of these key battleground states. The results are pretty intriguing. What are the highlights?
Well, I think it depends on what state we look at. I mean, in fact, you look at a state like Wisconsin, where almost a third of the overall voting universe have completely cut the cord. It means they're not watching broadcast TV, they're not watching cable, they're not watching satellite. All they're looking at is watching through Apple TV, through Roku, or just through an app, through an MSNBC app on their phone or their iPad. And so the ability to reach those is a challenge if all you're doing is going out and buying broadcast TV. You've got to be able to buy ads that reach them directly through either through Google, through Facebook, or through YouTube, or directly through the MSNBC websites as you go out and target them. And so you look at a lot of these races where their candidates were doing nothing but running broadcast, and they weren't reaching those voters. Like I said, Wisconsin was a big one. Nevada's a big one at 20%. You'll at 20% of the voters. Pennsylvania. And so, as you mentioned, age up there, but there's some other real key interesting correlations that enter into it. There is education level. There is kids versus no kids. We find as those with no kids but married couple far more likely to be cord cutters. We find, again, higher education. We find those who own their home versus an apartment. And so, again, reaching those core voter groups that were just being completely left out. And so our goal was to be able to try and help some of our clients do that.
As you were talking, Chris, we had a map up on screen showing sort of the percentage of these cord cutters in each state. And this is wild, right? 1 in 3 people in Wisconsin aren't seeing ads on broadcast, right? You're looking at 22% in Arizona, 20% in Pennsylvania, 1 in 4 voters aren't seeing it in Ohio. So to me, this says, hey, campaigns have got to change the way they advertise. Is that what you're seeing in this data? I mean, look ahead to 2020. Are we talking like network broadcast ads are just not happening? That seems...
Well, I don't think they're going to go away completely, but I do think it requires a certain level of creativity. And I take a lot of pride in the fact that Ted Cruz won the youth vote in 28 out of the 42 primaries he was involved in, because we took a different approach in terms of what we put up. We didn't just put up regular old ads that just kind of took shots at our opponents. We tried to get creative. We ran ads with, with a video that was sort of like a spoof on Office Space with Hillary Clinton beating up a server with a baseball bat. And so because you've got the ability to skip an ad on digital that you don't have the ability to do on TV, and TV you just kind of sit there and you have to watch it. So you've got to find things that are a little more creative that keep the voter and pull them in. And yeah, I do think as you move into 2018 and 2020, that becomes a real key aspect of the way in which you appeal to a voter.
Cord cutters, they're probably younger. Are they more Democratic leaning?
They do, and I'll tell you, this has been one of the key things we found in some of these states is you'll find, for instance, in Nevada, it's about 60% Democrat, 20% Republican, 20% Independent. But even if you're not talking those 20% of Republicans, they may not turn out. They may stay home. You may not convince enough of the independents. And then you've got the Democrats that you have to try and persuade, because there's this core percentage of those that may be disaffected with Hillary Clinton. They may have been Sanders supporters that you could pull over and convince to vote for you. And I do think this is the one challenge that Republicans have, because no matter how you slice it, Hillary Clinton is going to win fairly overwhelmingly with millennial voters. And we've got a nominee, again, that's going to underperform there, and Republicans have got to do a better job of targeting this demographic and reaching out to them. And so far, we've got a plan for that for the next couple of cycles.
Republican pollster Chris Wilson, thank you very much. That does it for us on this hour of MSNBC Live.